last video I posted showed how to work the Tunisian Simple Stitch. Today I will demonstrate how to work the Tunisian Knit Stitch, which is another basic stitch of Tunisian. You will need a skein of medium worsted yarn, medium color tones. A 6mm Afghan hook is a good size to learn Tunisian. Remember, you need to use an Afghan hook at least 2 sizes larger than the yarn label recommends. This helps to decrease the amount of tension and curling in your final project. Now, on the last video, we talked a good bit about Tunisian and how to set up the foundation row and what's included in the forward and return passes. So if you need a reminder, please feel free to watch the Tunisian Simple Stitch video here on WIPS as a reminder before continuing here. For this video, I will build a foundation row and demonstrate how to work the Tunisian Knit Stitch. If you remember from the last video, you chain the exact number of stitches that you want the width of your project to be. For this example, I will chain 10. If you're following along, go ahead and make a slip knot and chain 10. And 10. Let's count and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After completing the change, you will turn. This will be the only time you turn in Tunisian because everything is worked on the right side of the fabric. For this pass, the first forward pass, we will add loops to our hook. And the way that we do this is by inserting the hook in the back bumps of the chain and pulling up a loop. If you turn your chain over, you will see a row of back bumps right here going up, and that's where you want to insert your hook. So when you turn, the first bump's right up here at the top, the second one is right here. So we're going to insert our hook just through that back bump and pull up a loop. Remember to keep your stitches a little bit loose for the chain and this first pass, because this will also help curtail that curling that will occur with Tunisian. And you will just continue inserting your hook into each back bump all the way down to the end and leaving those loops on the hook. Almost there. This yarn is not the best. It keeps wanting to split on me. Now, if you noticed, I'm using a regular crochet hook. I like to do this when I'm in a confined space and making videos because I have such a small space to film in. But at the end of our return pass, I will switch to a regular Afghan hook. And for this, I'm using a 6mm Afghan crochet hook. And when I switch to the Afghan hook, it will also be a 6mm hook, so I can keep my gauge and my tension the same. At the end of this first forward pass, you should have the same number of loops on your hook that you chained. In my case, I have 10 loops, which means I actually had 10 chains to begin with. Each of these loops represent one stitch. For the return pass, it's the same as the Tunisian Simple Stitch. Yarn over and pull through just that first loop. Yarn over and then pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. And again, all the way across till you have just 1 loop remaining on the hook. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and switch to my Afghan hook. Now, if you remember, doing the Tunisian Simple Stitch, we inserted our hook underneath these vertical bars. Vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar, vertical bar. All these vertical parts of the stitch, or the legs of the stitch, are the bars. You have a front vertical bar and you have a rear vertical bar, which is a little bit hard to see right now because we haven't worked very much of the of the rows yet, but you can see it right there. It kind of makes an upside down U or tunnel, and for the knit stitch we want to insert our hook in between the front and back vertical bar and draw up a loop. We don't want to insert between the stitches into that square window. We want to go between in that tunnel between the front and the back vertical bar. So again, from front to back, we're pushing our hook through the tunnel, yarning over and drawing up a loop. And you continue doing this all the way to the end. This is my 9th stitch, and a lot of people who are just beginning Tunisian want to stop here, but you actually have one more stitch here at the end. Insert your hook behind the front and the vertical like this. So this stitch will always be the same. You're going to go behind both of the front and the back vertical, yarn over and drop that loop. Again, you should have 10 loops on your hook, 3, 6, 9, 10. And to work them off, again, we're going to yarn over and draw through the first loop, yarn over, draw through 2, and yarn over, draw through 2, all the way back to the beginning. This yarn is really splitting on me. Okay. Like so. And if you continue in this fashion, you will get a piece of fabric that looks like this, just as if you use 2 needles instead of the hook. And there you have it, the Tunisian knit stitch. If you have any questions about this video, please post them in WIPs. I'd love to hear you about your adventures in Tunisian and see pictures of your samples and your completed works. Thanks for watching.